Hey guys, welcome back to the channel McNallie Money, home of all things stock, investment, and personal finance related. Now for today's video, we've got a really exciting one for you. We're going to be joined by the co-founder and CEO of Yerbaé Brands. This is a beverage company based in the United States. Super exciting sector to be a part of. Very high growth, you guys. We've got a lot to go through in today's presentation, but before we do, please take a second, hit the like button. It's a big help to myself and the channel. If you're not already subscribed, McNallie Money, feel free to join. And let me know in the comment section below if you're currently holding shares of Yerbaé Brands, if you've tried their products, and what your thoughts are on the beverage category over the next couple of quarters. Now with that being said, let's get into today's interview. Okay guys, so that's right. Today's video, we've got a special guest, Yerbaé Brands, the CEO and co-founder, Todd Gibson, here to answer some questions and tell us a little bit more about his company. So Todd, thanks so much for being with us here today.
Hey, thanks for having me on the McNallie Money.
Yeah, you bet. Welcome and glad to have you. So you've got an interesting and long history in the beverage space. We were just talking about it a little bit before the interview started here. So can you tell us about your background, Todd, and how that background actually led you to founding Yerbaé Brands?
Sure. Well, I'll go all the way back to 1995, which is a lifetime ago. I worked at a local beer distributor in Detroit, Michigan, called Donnelly Beverage, and we were the Labatt's beer and the Arizona iced tea distributor in that marketplace. Little did I know that I was working for a couple beverage geniuses at the time. One went on to have a wildly successful career, building and launching Nantucket Nectars, Snapple, and a handful of others. And my direct sales manager was a guy named Mark Hall, and he had this idea to launch the first energy drink here in North America. And he had partnered with a couple of guys that had just bought a failing franchise called Hanson's Naturals, which was a soda company from Corona, California. They took it public. They brought Mark in, and Mark's idea was to launch the first energy drink. So we launched Hanson's Energy in an 8.2 ounce can. I was part of the original just group of guys that came over there. It was roughly about 10 of us that went over there at roughly about the same time. And we built it up, and you would know the brand now today as Monster. So we launched that. It's hard to believe it's been that long ago, but it's been that long ago.
Yeah.
And in 2000, I left Monster, and I helped another team kind of get their brand up and really moving in the marketplace. It was a brand called South Beach Beverage, better known as Sobe.
Okay.
And after about 3 years, we built that up. We sold that to Pepsi-Cola. Shortly after that, I didn't have a non-compete, so I walked right out the door and partnered up with a budding entrepreneur who wanted to launch a vitamin-infused beverage called Fuse, spelled F-U-Z-E.
Okay.
We built that one up, and after a few years, 4 years to be specific, we sold that off to Coca-Cola. Then we launched an energy drink called NOS, spelled N-O-S, NOS for the driver, just like NOS for the car.
Okay.
And we partnered with Holly Carburetor and built that energy drink company up and sold that to Coca-Cola. Coke a little different than Pepsi. They said, hey, look, we're not going to buy a third brand from you, back to back like this. So for the next 3 years, you're either on a non-compete to where you leave the industry, or you can come work here at Coca-Cola for the next 3 years. I was young. I wanted to see what happened behind that big red curtain.
Yeah.
So I jumped in both feet, and, little did I know at the time, Coca-Cola was about to purchase Vitamin Water and Smart Water, and so they were creating a new division called the Still Beverage Group, and what that managed would be Vitamin Water, Smart Water, Fuse, NOS, the rest of the energy drinks, Powerade and Dasani. And what we built up started as a $4.1 billion division, turned in one of Coke's fastest growing and most profitable divisions in the company. And at the time of my exit, I was the general manager and senior vice president for the Still Beverage Group for my portion of the country. So
Gotcha.
it was an incredible time, incredible moments. I learned a lot from Coke. I've learned a lot from our previous entrepreneurial businesses, but I don't want to stop there. My partner, Carrie Gibson, ironically, we've got the same last name. I married her, about 15 years ago.
All right.
And but she's an entrepreneur of her own. So she actually built and launched what became one of the first electronic recycling companies here in the US. She launched it from our house in 2005, and 10 years later, fast forward, it's now the third largest electronic recycler in all of North America, and she sold the
Wow.
company in 2015 to the world's second largest metals company out of Finland. So they're both of us have an entrepreneurial background, and our team, we're loaded with an entire team filled with them, whether as people from ex Muscle Milk or Vitamin Water or Fuse, you name it, going all the way back. We've got people working here that have tons of history building and selling brands.
Yeah, it's quite the rock star cast, and you've got the power couple at the helm there, Todd. So that's great. I read up on the bios online and about the recycling business, and yeah, definitely impressive. And to your point earlier, it's hard to even imagine a world without energy drinks. It's like thinking about pre-cell phone. It just seems so long ago. But if you go to the beverage counter in the 7-Eleven or whatever, those are some of the main brands. So it definitely is a good track record to have behind you. Now, for people who are unfamiliar with Yerbae Brands, can you give us a high-level summary of this company and the products within your current portfolio?
Sure, sure. So our company, what we did when Carrie and I, when we built and launched this, is we said we were drinking energy drinks. We're not getting any younger. We're not getting any
Yeah,
healthier by drinking Monster or Red Bull. It's filled with artificial, synthetic ingredients, things that you probably shouldn't be putting in your body. Um, so we took a look at it and we said, why can't you do this, replicate a similar event, right? Giving you like a natural energy just by using plants.
okay.
So we took a little tour around the world and we tried spices, herbs, teas from around the world. We fell in love with the yerba mate. Yerba mate is from South America. It's known to produce 196 different vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants for your body, but it also produces natural caffeine, which makes it our celebrity ingredient. And one day we were brewing yerba mate in our house, and we just blended it in with sparkling water one day. Carrie and I, we looked at each other and we said, holy crap, we have this.
That was it, eh?
Nobody's doing this. Can't believe nobody's doing this. We were the first company in 2017 to introduce a sparkling water that was caffeinated, but it was caffeinated by using plants instead of using an artificial source like a lab grown caffeine.
Cool. Very cool. And it named itself practically for you, hey?
It did. There's a long story behind the name too, but the long and short is we landed on Yerbae, and it brings a combination of what is truly trending still today, that being the word bay,
Yeah,
and yerba mate, and obviously we combine the two of them, so make it Yerbae. So
perfect.
that's the fun, playful name.
There you
And if
go.
you look back at all the history of all of our brands, they all had their own unique play on words. So SOBE stood for South Beach Beverage.
Yeah,
Fuse was infusion of vitamins and minerals. So it's like, you have a fun way to play with it. It creates a conversation, specifically at the point of retail, right? Consumers will look at it and say, what in the world? What does that say? And then you create a conversation, which generates that excitement, that interest into the brand.
for sure. Yeah, no, I got a kick out of reading that too. Now, how would you say, and you alluded to this a little bit as you're the first ones doing this with sparkling water and the natural caffeine from plants, but what ways have you differentiated from your competitors in this space?
Well, for sure. I mean, if I don't have a competitor's can on my table here, but if you take a look at like a Celsius or a Monster or a Red Bull, anybody that we sit right next to on the shelf, you'll typically find somewhere between 32 and 36 ingredients that are inside the can.
Okay.
They're largely artificial or synthetic. It's not non-GMO or organic ingredients, right? So it's very difficult to know and understand what you're actually consuming and putting into your body. Where ours, when you look at our nutritional fact panel, we keep it very simple. So on the nutritional fact panel, if you can see that at all, there's really 8 total ingredients inside of the can.
Okay.
First one's water. The next 7 are all derivatives from plants.
Okay.
So we can confidently look the consumers in the eye and say, we're delivering a healthier for you alternative using ingredients that your body knows what to do with use it efficiently and discard of it efficiently.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, and I know just based on what I do here, and we interview a lot of brands, there's a huge push for that right now. The health craze is all over the media, and I think you've really, you're in the right spot at the right time in terms of your differentiation there. So that's great. Now, next question, you alluded to this a bit in the intro, but you talked about your background in the beverage industry, some of the behemoths out there, Pepsi, Coca-Cola, you mentioned. What do those connections mean for you now at this company?
Oh, sure. I mean, we use those same connections that we've accumulated for the last 25 plus years,
Mm-hmm.
right, to help advance the company, right, both with knowledge, with the experience that we have, as well as the capabilities that we get to leverage it on. And as you may or may not have noticed, but Pepsi Cola is actually bottling our product, and we're not owned by Pepsi.
Mm-hmm.
And what that does is that allows us to compete in a very competitive landscape using their strong capabilities, yields, efficiencies. And that helps keep our costs down. But we don't stop there. We also bottle with other major bottlers around the country,
All right.
and those bottlers are equally as good as what the Pepsi bottling system is, and that's just one of many leverage points. Beyond that, too, when it comes down to distribution is always one of the most challenging pieces for a beverage entrepreneur to really lean in on. And you can fail epically in distribution, or you could be wildly successful. And I've seen a little bit of both in my career. And as the world changes and consumers are spending less time in the store, and they're shopping more on Instacart, Amazon Go, right, Walmart.com, places like that, knowing and understanding the capability of the system is so incredibly important.
Mm-hmm.
So that way we're maximizing the capital that the company has in the areas that can be most impactful for the business.
Sure. Okay, great answer. And that really leads us nicely into the next question here. So you've had a really good start to the year, probably a result of a lot of the stuff we've talked about, branding, distribution, some of those connections. Revenue numbers are looking extremely healthy, Todd. Can you talk to us about the market opportunity in general for the beverage sector and some of the tailwinds that we're starting to see in this space now?
Well, let me start with the tailwinds. So from the tailwind perspective, the consumer is changing.
Mm-hmm.
They're not just changing how they're shopping or where they're shopping. They're also changing what they want to put in their body. So if you're not a new brand launching in the health and wellness space, it's a very challenging uphill battle to connect to those consumers. Consumers are screaming, "I don't want sugar. I don't want aspartame. I do not want sucralose." Right, all the bad stories that are out there around aspartame, they're equally, if not worse, around sucralose. There's even others that are coming along, like erythritol. That's another one that doesn't have a whole lot of great research behind it.
Okay.
But in our particular case, we focus in on 0 calories, 0 carbs, 0 sugars, using plant-based ingredients, right, that are sustainable. And, we believe that we've built a product that just tastes amazing, and the consumers are really connecting with it. So as they're on their health journey and they're looking to upgrade from a Monster or a Celsius or a Zoa or any of these other brands, and they're looking for a healthy option, we jump right out on that shelf as a true health and wellness alternative to that marketplace. And because of that, we're seeing the tailwinds really grow. And, a good example is we started in Costco last year in August.
Okay.
And the business just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger by the month. And even some of the retailers that we've been on shelf for almost 5 years, like Sprouts Farmers Market,
Okay.
we're seeing record months of growth that are coming from a chain like that. And it's one of our longest standing customers that we have in the company history. And to see us grow at the levels that we're growing, it's unheard of when you get to year 5. You typically don't see that, right? You see the big growth rates in like your year 1 through year 3, and then it levels off and turns into 30-40% growth. But we're far exceeding that, and we're very excited about that.
Yeah, it really is quite an exciting story. Once you hit the Costco shelves, you've made it. Everybody loves Costco and going there, so that's awesome. And the next question is revenue specific. Obviously, that's directly correlated to overall growth. You've seen revenue really accelerate for the start of this year. What do you attribute that to, or can you give us some details in terms of projections kind of for the remainder of the year here, Todd?
Yeah, well, so I can't give you any projections.
Okay.
So I would be out of compliance. But what I can do is I can point you and your viewers back to our press releases that we've released, and I'll make the statement that we're materially similar, right, in what we anticipate for the remainder of the year. So we will see strong growth. Last year, we closed the year at $7.2 million in net sales.
Okay.
And in January, we had 1.7, right?
Wild.
And in February, we had 1.2. And these are big months when in conjunction you go back and you look back at our February sales last year, we did $450,000 in February of last year.
Yeah.
So we're talking big growth rates from year to year, and it's big momentum swings. And as we swing that momentum and we're making those genuine connections with those consumers, we invested into a community called CrossFit last year.
Yeah, I
It has
know.
about 6 million active participants just here in the US. And those active participants are seeing our ads, whether it's in their gyms or in and around publications around their industry. Then, of course, in 2019, we had one of the biggest personalities in all of CrossFit decide to invest into our company. Her name's Amy Thorsdottir. And she has just been absolutely incredible spreading the word around our brand. So it's a combination of the consumers looking for a healthier alternative, the marketplace is ready for it, and we're spreading the awareness rather quickly around the brand and the benefits of our brand versus consuming some of the others that are out there.
For sure. Very exciting. Very exciting stuff. Now, moving on, kind of switching gears a little bit here, we've talked about the importance of distribution, specifically in the beverage industry. You've recently at Yerbae announced a new distribution agreement with Compass Group, North America. What does that mean for the brand moving forward?
Sure. So think of Compass, it's more than a distribution. While in their title of their company, it says they're a distribution company, but they're also a retailer.
Okay.
So in this particular case, they own a division called Canteen, and Canteen operates these micro markets that are inside of some of the biggest name businesses that exist in the world. So for instance, Facebook. You can find us on all the Facebook campuses now. That operates through Compass.
Okay.
Microsoft. We're on all the Microsoft campuses. Intel, LinkedIn, Snapchat, Goldman Sachs building, places like that. You'll find our product merchandise everywhere that they sell products or they give products to their employees through their pantries within those marketplaces. And for us, what an incredible way to build your audience, make the connectivity with the consumers that are ultimately going to be the long-term buyers.
No
And you're
kidding.
doing it in a very intimate setting while people are sitting at their desk, right? And, what better way when they have a little bit of downtime? They're looking at the can that they just purchased and assuming that they love the flavor, we're educating them. And we're building that awareness, and we're building it one can at a time. It's becoming like a stacking event that continues to stack. And in our presentation deck, I believe it called out that we had already sold 24 million cans in the marketplace. I mean, we're almost at 5 million cans alone this year.
It's
So
incredible.
it just is growing infinitely faster than we had prior.
Well, it's a good spot to be in as a CEO. We call that the snowballing effect here in Canada, Todd. Not not the stacking. We like the snow. But yeah, I didn't realize that about Compass Group either. That's good information to know. I thought they were purely distribution. Didn't realize they had those on-site campus locations. So even more power to the growth story there. Now, as we talk about the back half of 2023 and beyond here, what can we expect to see from your company in terms of products and announcements or exciting news to kind of watch on the horizon here?
Well, our company is focused on a handful of key pillars, and there's a couple of them that I can share with you. Is what we're focused on is we're focused on our operating efficiencies between now and the end of the year, and that's obviously an ongoing process. We're constantly evolving, growing, and improving through our continuous improvement processes. But the reality is, we want to be bottling as close to the point of distribution as we possibly can. So you'll see us continue to work down that path,
All right.
as well as source larger volumes to help bring our COGS, stay competitive with our peers. We're also going to be focusing on building that brand awareness. So, you'll see all kinds of news and announcements from us about, new influencers or new opportunities to connect with consumers, as well as, an expansion within the CrossFit community. So we will continue to keep evolving there to build the brand awareness. And then, finally, ultimately, it really comes down to our sales and marketing teams executing in the marketplace to keep this momentum.
Yeah.
And if we can keep the momentum, we feel like we put ourselves in an incredible spot for an even more successful 2024.
For sure. Yeah, and I'll leave a link to the company website in the video description below so you guys can go in, take a look at some of those press releases. Now, final kind of thoughts from you, Todd. One other question I had is, we're obviously based here in Canada. For people who are watching from Canada or other countries internationally, is there an opportunity to get this online or shipped, or is it just available in the States right now?
So if it's a business that has a retail license, they can sign up with FAIRE, F-A-I-R-E, FAIRE.com.
Okay.
And then get $100 in our product for free. And that can ship to most countries around the world, to include Canada.
Great.
And that ships from that third party. Now, when it comes down to purchasing our product, our goal is to be up and on Amazon in as fast of a manner as we possibly can in Canada. Canada has a department called Health Canada, and it's a process to up and list in Canada and have your product either on shelf or available via e-com.
Sure.
So that's in process. I don't have a crystal ball of when it will be up and available for sure, because it is a government-led process.
Totally understandable. Okay, great. And that's good information for other businesses out there too, looking to stock the product. So appreciate your time today. This was really insightful. Any final thoughts or closing thoughts for the audience if they want to find more information or anything like that?
I mean, for those that are interested in small cap investments, keep an eye on us. We have a lot of news. Stay close to Yerbae.com, the investor page. Or tag us on Google and track the press releases as they go live. And
For sure.
Follow our social media. It's just incredible moments that our team is connecting. So all of our social media handles are Drink Yerbae.
Gotcha. Okay, yeah, this is going to be one that I'm definitely watching closely myself as a potential investor and someone who's interested in the beverage space in general. You guys, thanks so much for watching today. If you're still with us at this point, make sure you hit the like button. If you're not part of the channel, McNallie Money, feel free to subscribe. Todd, really appreciate your time today. Great interview, and we look forward to having you back as we continue to follow this story.
Hey, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate the opportunity to talk to your viewers.
Take care.